Okay, let's try this again. So I just spent like 30 minutes recording myself sharing a screen off of StreamYard, and that totally didn't work because it turns out that I can't share the screen. I don't know what I don't know what went wrong. So starting over, and hopefully I can do this a lot quicker. Excuse me. So what I wanted to ugh, can't talk, trying to, not working. Slow it down. Okay, so what I wanted to dive into today was why I personally use Squarespace and why I'm obsessed with it, and also touch slightly on why WordPress is the worst option for your business. Like, hands down, the worst platform on the planet for your business. Feel a little strongly about that. And the reason for that is because It I think a lot of people choose it by default because they don't know what else is out there and everybody else on the planet uses it, so why not? And then they get into the back end, and if you're not a coder, a web developer, which is completely different than a graphic designer, and technology is not your zone of genius, like computer science, right? If those aren't your things, then you instantly are overwhelmed, have no idea what to do, and so you start dumping money into trying to figure it out, right? You get wrapped up in all of the plugins, which from that I'm aware of, most of them you have to pay for. Like, if you're depending on what you're doing, you have to pay for the plugins. And then you go hunting for a template or a theme that will work for you, that is cheap and affordable, but still offers all of the bells and whistles that you're wanting. And then you get into trying to design it all, and there you have to go to 10 different places in order to change the color in one area or a bunch of other things, right? So then really you just end up being frustrated and overwhelmed and spending massive amounts of your time stressing, worrying, and never sending anybody to your website, cringing, hoping that nobody actually goes to it because it does not reflect the high level experience that you actually provide your clients, and you don't want anybody to look at it because you don't know how to fix it. And because you are a solo person, right? You don't have a huge team, and you're not in that multiple 6 to 7 figure income bracket. You don't have the ability to go hire somebody. You don't have the ability to go spend, $10,000 on a graphic designer to come design it for you. Which, by the way, if you want it done correctly, that's what you have to pay, because they have to code it. And that is very time consuming and tedious. So I mean, it's more that on WordPress, it's much more than just drag and drop, click here, click there, done. You can't just set it and forget it either, because you got to make sure that all of the plugins work, right? That they are up to date and active and not broken, because one tiny little thing will completely crash the whole site. These are just a handful of things and a handful of reasons why I personally recommend not going with WordPress. Because just like you have an ideal client, right? So does WordPress. WordPress has an ideal client. It's somebody who is a corporation, somebody who does over 1,000 blogs. Like, they blog 2 to 5 times a week, right? Um, so corporation, huge blogger. They have so many different branches that they need housed in an area. They actually need coding because they can't achieve what they want without it. Like, all of those things is a specific type of audience. And I think the disconnect is WordPress doesn't have to market themselves because everybody on the planet knows who they are, and they don't necessarily update themselves either because they don't really have to. Um, and honestly, they work. WordPress is amazing platform. It can do amazing things, but only if you fit inside the demographic that they were created for. I like to call them the Android version, and Squarespace is the Apple version. Apple is created for a very specific demographic: creatives, artists, musicians, people who are needing to present themselves in a very specific way. Whereas Android is created for people who need to do back end systems and Excel and Word documents and technology things. For example, my husband, his business, Apple is like it would be horrible for his business because it's not compatible. The software that he needs to use to run his business was built for Microsoft, not Apple. And his business partner is an Apple fanatic and constantly has issues, and it drives my husband insane because it's not compatible, right? So, I mean, honestly, it is kind of a personal preference thing, but I'm going from the perspective of what is realistically good for you in the long term. Okay. If you are not wanting to be in the multiple high 8-figure industry and you don't want to have a million different branches to your company, then WordPress is most likely the worst option for you. Okay. And then the other thing too, so we've talked about that. We've covered those things. Let's talk about a little bit about the mindset around that. Okay. The mindset around WordPress usually is I have invested, excuse me, I have allergies. So when I talk, I get a little asthmatic. So I apologize. Um, yeah, and my window's right here, and there's like a lot of blooming plants right outside of it. So anyway, back on track. The mindset that I run into when it comes to WordPress is usually a couple of things. I just reinvested in my domain and WordPress, and I have another 3-year contract with them. So I don't want to break that because then I would just be out all that money. Or I've spent 6 years developing this website and it's got a lot of moving parts. And the idea of starting over from scratch just stresses and overwhelms the heck out of me. So I don't want to go there. And I come in with, okay, here, look at it from here's another perspective. Okay. Here's a different direction a different viewpoint. How many people have you invested in? How many courses, how many personal or business education have you invested in over the last year? Every single time you invested in something, I'm pretty sure you didn't think about it as, well, that was just a waste of money. I didn't learn what I wanted to. It didn't get me any closer to my goal. So instead of going out and purchasing a new thing, I'm just going to stay where I'm at. Like that's usually not how you go about it, right? It's like, cool, learned that or didn't learn that. Next, bigger, better. Like you're always searching for the next thing to help you move forward. You don't think about it as a waste of money, usually. Sometimes, but usually you don't. That's one perspective to kind of combat the whole wasting money because you just invested, right? Another perspective that you can look at it from that, like that whole, I just invested another 3 years and I spent 6 developing this website by myself. Still not what I'm happy with. Still cringe having anybody look at it. But I didn't wanna just throw that out the window, so I reinvested my 3-year plan. And I come to that with, okay, well, how many hours are you spending a day or per day or per week working on your website, trying to get it to be something that you do want people to visit, that you do want to tell people about? How many hours a week or a day do you spend worrying, stressing, unhappy with the visual representation of the high level service that you provide your clients? You know that branding is important. You know that it needs to be a specific thing, but you have no idea how to do that on WordPress. So then you go searching for a new template, right? And then you just spend more hours. Okay. Now, think about all of those hours that you just spent trying to adjust your website and your color, your fonts, like whatever. Translate that into how many paid hours, how much money are you like, instead of being on the back end worrying about all those things, you could be on the front end making money, right? So, how quickly could you be making back everything that you just invested and then some by taking those hours and putting them in front of your business instead of behind it? Because spending all that time behind your business isn't going to get you more clients. It's not going to get you where you want to be because you're not really actively doing much. Does that make sense? So you're on WordPress, okay? And I get that you spent all this money and this time developing your website, but if it stresses you out and you are not in the multiple six-figure income bracket, allowing you to go hire the website developer, because they're going to have to code your website in order to get it to work the way you want it to, or hire the graphic designer who can not code it but still make it function correctly and present it the way you want it. Like, either one of those are going to cost you over $5,000. If that's not something that you can afford right now to get it done super quick, why are you like, I don't understand this mindset. I don't understand why you limit yourself and say, I can't change platforms because I'm stuck with this one, because I'm not bringing in clients. Like, it's just this big, long narrative of things that you tell yourself that aren't true. You can, like, it, bottom line, it's a choice. You're choosing to stay with WordPress because you're afraid of what it's going to take to do something else. I get it, but I don't understand why you're limiting yourself in that way. Unless you're like, "No, I want WordPress. It is the right platform for my business long term, so I'm just waiting it out until I can afford to hire somebody to take over and make it epic." That's totally okay. I'm all for that. But if that is not where you're at and you're simply saying, "I just don't wanna have to restart over," and that is the only reason why you're not changing platforms, like that, it's not a good enough reason, okay? It's just not. So let me show you Squarespace. Now, first, I started with WordPress and I was overwhelmed by it. I hate the platform. I do not like, I know a tiny bit about coding, but it's tedious and it bores the heck out of me. So I had no desire to go learn more, even though I could. I didn't want to because it was super boring and tedious and massively time consuming. And I did not like the fact that I had to spend over an hour to adjust one tiny little thing on my website, and I had to spend time daily making sure everything worked. I've worked on a couple of client websites in the past, and I'm like, "No, this just stresses me out and it's not worth it." So, I'm not doing it. There has to be something better out there. Then I found Wix and I tried Wix, but Wix at the time, I was a photographer and it did not have the security features that I wanted it to have for my clients. So I'm like, there has to be a happy medium. There has to be something that's better, easier to use, user friendly than WordPress, but has better security. And that's when I found Squarespace. And this was about 7 years ago. And I've been obsessed with it since then. And I will convert everyone that I can to Squarespace. And the few clients that I have that I did convert are blown away by how user friendly it is and how much design freedom you have with Squarespace. The fact that you can run your entire website from their mobile app. You can edit copy, you can fix typos, you can email, you can blog, you can check analytics. Like there are so many things that you can um, have control over just off of the mobile app. It's insane. And there's more things than I'm aware of. I'm constantly learning new little tip, yeah, tricks. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen. And by the way, I'm going to repurpose this on my podcast. So, like later down the road. So, for those of you who can't see what I'm talking about, the video is also going to be on YouTube and my website. So, like, you can go or, just come join me in my tribe of dreamers where I'm recording this for. And I can show you in real time because we're just going to use Zoom from now on because I can't figure out how to use anything else. Not a tech person. Moving on. Sharing screen for my website. Okay. So I'm going to, for those listening that can't see what I'm doing, I'm showing the back end of my personal website. Okay. If you go to alliecole.co, you will see all of the bells and whistles and all the shiny, pretty things. But if you watch this video, you will be able to see the back end of all the things. Now, I have the unlimited plan, excuse me, for Squarespace. So I have access to everything. I'm also a circle member, which it's kind of like Squarespace's designer community. If you have published 3 websites under your own profile, you have instant access to the Circle membership, which is every other Squarespace designer. It's a forum and it's a lot of other things too. So sometimes it's helpful because if I get stuck, I can go ask questions. Anyway, so Squarespace offers a lot of different things. First, there's no plugins. None at all. Everything is 100% built in-house, already in their servers, software, whatever you want to call it. Super easy to start a new website because, and I will show you, let's close all of my little tabs. You can have unlimited hidden pages. There's a members area, so you can sell memberships of sorts. They just launched the members area, which is like a subscription service to an area that is housed directly in your website. You don't have to have another one. I could go on and on just about the membership site. So you have a bunch of different navigation options. You have a bunch of different pre-made templates. It's super easy to just click and create a blog. Squarespace also has e-commerce, so you don't have to use Shopify. Shopify is super expensive, and so is WooCommerce from what I understand on WordPress. It can also get pretty expensive. Both e-commerce platforms, WooCommerce and Shopify, require plugins in order to use their store. And they can get pretty expensive, which is just one more reason why I like Squarespace, because it's only $32 a month. That's it. $32 a month. You have unlimited access to everything, all marketing things, all, let's see, there's Instagram store promotions. You can have products on Instagram, like you can do Google ads, you can do Pinterest things. For an add-on, they also have integrated in-house email campaigns. They have scheduling. You can schedule and have all of that in-house as well. Well, wait, go back. This is one of the things where you're going to have to see the video in order to, if it'll load. There we go. Waiting. Setting, well, it says it's setting things up. I was moving a little too fast for it. Okay, so scheduling is a lot more robust than the free options. I cannot remember how much of an add-on scheduling is per month. I know it's not super high, but since I already have it, I do not, for the life of me, remember where I go to look up the pricing for that. I just automatically added it. Like, I want everything. So there's email settings, there's payment settings. You can sync with a bunch of different calendars. There's a bunch of different integrations, like Facebook. Right now, if you go to my Facebook, it's automatically, the booking link goes directly to my Squarespace scheduling app for getting on a free consultation call with me. You can integrate with QuickBooks, FreshBooks, whatever that is. Zero? Oh, I don't know. MailChimp, Drip, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact, Google Analytics, Infusionsoft, Google Calendars, and like a crap ton of other ones. Google Sheets, like there's so many integrations. You can do intake forms, which you can create a bunch of different contracts. So if you want somebody to sign a contract before they're allowed to speak with you, or like I have one in here for guest interviews for my podcast, and they have to sign a voice release form allowing me to have ownership of their audio that was recorded for my podcast. So in the questionnaire, there's like, the general, who are you, all of those things. And then do you agree to release your audio to me and all that stuff. So there's a contract form attached to the scheduling. And there's a lot of, there's reports, there's a lot of analytical things attached to the scheduling as well. And you can do specific emails. You can customize it, the appearance, so that it looks all on brand and stuff. You can create multiple different appointment types and put in individual time brackets for the different appointments. So like I have my consultation calls, and they are only Monday and Tuesday at specific times. And then I have my podcast guests, which are Wednesday and Thursday at specific times. But they all populate on all of the calendars that I have it synced to. So you can like split it up. You have so many different options, things. There's the e-commerce, and there's loads of different things. There's wait lists, there's product stats, print on demand. Ooh, that's new. I'm gonna have to look at that one. I didn't even know that was new. Point of sales, there's related products, different payment forms, checkouts. You can customize the checkout screen. You can also attach forms for specific products. So like if you want somebody if somebody goes and buys say a mini course from you and you want to collect additional information from them, you can attach forms and things to the checkout screen. There's an insanely in-depth help desk. You can have so if you do have a member site and or you sell products, there's a profiles area where anybody who is either in your email list, so I have like it's the profiles of everybody that has either joined a membership, purchased something from you, or subscribed to an email. And in here, you can create email campaigns that are directed to the specific areas. So you can send it just to your customers or just to your subscription members or just to your email list. So you have a little bit more that you can do there. And then I'm pretty sure, so that's just, stop sharing. That is a super fast, super quick inside look at what Squarespace has to offer. When you go, I do know that they have a free trial. I don't know if I can't remember if it's 7 or 14 days. I want to say it's 14, but don't hold me to that. I do know that frequently they have 20% off sales for activating a website. And they have multiple different pre-made templates. So if you really just want to have something up and running super fast, you can do that. They have what else? There was something bird in the brain, out the other side. What was it? I don't know. It's super easy to design as well. So it's kind of set, if you're familiar with Wix, or I think it's the WordPress one that starts with the like Divian, I think Divi theme, the Divi theme for WordPress, similar to those where you have different sections and then you just click on the little plus marks and then you can insert different things. But there's a million different options. Okay, not really a million, but there's a lot of different options for pre-built things. So you can very, very quickly add something. Like for me, now granted, I am a graphic designer, so I can do things faster just because I know what I'm doing. Just like you could probably do something way faster than I can because it's your zone and it's not mine. So it's going to take me longer. But in Squarespace, I was able to completely redesign one of the clients that I had transferred over from WordPress to Squarespace. I really didn't add. She's like, I just need this up and running and I need it live like within the next couple of days. Like, that's fine. She's like, don't worry about the design. Just get the information there so that at least it's functional because I'm tired of it crashing on me. And I don't have the time to go figure out how to fix it. Like, that's fine. She had like maybe 3 pages and I transferred the entire WordPress site in like 2 hours, only using the pre-made page layouts. And it was done and it was up and running. And she's one of the people that actually later she's like, "Oh my gosh, I like how did I not know about Squarespace before? Why isn't this more popular?" She's like, "I don't actually need you to do anything on this anymore. I'm taking over because this is fun, it's enjoyable, and I can do it really fast." And s every once in a while, I'll email her and be like, Are you okay? You still good?" So the thing with all of my clients is if I start it for you, it's housed I always have access to your site. If at some point, at any point, you're like, "I don't have time to fix this. I need this fixed like now." You can email me and say, "Hey, I need this fixed," and I'll go and fix it for you because I have access to it, right? I don't charge for the it's just like one of those things where I'm there. I'm a resource. I'm there for you. And so one of the things that she's like, "I don't know how to insert this code thing to get the audio in." So I just did a quick little Zoom video and did it for her and then sent her the video. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so simple." Like, yes, but trying to explain that in text is not going to be easy. It's not going to make any sense. So what I'm getting at is Squarespace is insanely easy, and I don't understand why people stick with WordPress out of I don't know if it's fear or what, but I mean, $32 a month for unlimited access to everything, and it's super simple and easy. I pay for, I think, I don't have the top email bracket because I don't do the top email bracket is it's for like can't remember what it's labeled for, but it's like corporations or something where they need like 50,000 emails a day or something like that. Like they said their volume is insanely high. I'm never going to be, I have no intention of being at that level, so I don't need that bracket. So I think I pay $15 a month for my email. And then the scheduling, like I said, I don't remember what that was, but it was also something, I want to say it's like $90 a year for unlimited everything in the scheduling. Don't quote me on that code because I'm not entirely sure, but I know it's nothing massive. It's cheaper than most. And all of it's unlimited because it's in your website. It's within the same platform. So it's like an add-on. Um, but it's not, you're not paying for these things that you don't need, is what I'm getting at. So out of everything combined, I pay, and I also have, the other thing too is Squarespace has in-house domain hosting as well. So all of my domains are housed within Squarespace. I don't do any of those other ones. Bluehost, I think, is the most popular one. I don't use it because I don't I don't need it. And I've had problems with companies being sold and I can't get access to my domain because the company was sold 3 times. And it took me 6 months to track down the domain in order to like it was still active, but there was issues. Um, so I keep it all in Squarespace because then I know where it is and I know how to access it and it's never gone. Um, but anyway, so I think all said and done between all of the add-ons and everything, I pay less than $500 a year. A year, less than $500 a year on my very robust, everything under the sun, all of the bells and whistles, unlimited everything, Squarespace website. Just saying. That is Based off of the numbers that I know that some of my clients have and some of my friends have, that is way cheaper than most places. So there you have it. That is why I'm obsessed with Squarespace, and they're always updating. They were always adding new things. They're constantly like their whole I love their business model, which is to serve to the best of their abilities in all areas. So they are very forward thinking, very how can we make this better and more simple and more user friendly without sacrificing design and all of that stuff. It's amazing. So if you have any questions, let me know. I can show you more things. I could probably talk for 5 hours on just Squarespace and all of the things that it can do, but nobody has time for that. So if you want to see more, let me know. Until next time, stay awesome. Have an amazing day.